Hi, my name's Billy. I read books, and let me tell you about what I've been doing and what I've been reading in the month of July 2025. So for those of you who don't want to listen about what I've been up to this month and just want to hear about the books, I'm going to put a timestamp here, which is where you can go fast forward to, which will be the point where I actually get talking about the books. Because what I'm going to talk about now briefly is a four-legged lodger who we had stay with us for a few days, a little bit about the trip to Skiathos that me and my wife went on, and a bit about the running and ultramarathon training that I'm doing. So we had Betsy, the chocolate Labrador, stay with us for a few nights while her owners were on holiday. Now, Betsy is the biological dog cousin of my dog, Summer. They're both 12, they're both labs, they're both biologically related. They've known each other all their lives, they get on like a house on fire. And when they were younger, they were crazy. But now they're older, now they're both 12, they're slowing down a bit. They're like a proper pair of little old ladies, trotting around after each other. They've got their own little ways and their personalities are so different. Betsy's just a big, gentle, plodding, lovable bear. You can just put your arms around her and hug her and cuddle her, and she'll let you do it all day long. Summer's bouncy, giddy, doesn't like being mauled, but when she wants to love you, she'll come and tell you, because she's going to put her paws all over you and say, I want some loving. So the difference in personalities is really funny and good to see. But then Betsy went back home, and then a few days later we went on holiday to Greece and Summer went to stay with Betsy. So our friends then looked after Summer for us while we went to Skiathos. And we went for 5 nights. I'll put a couple of pictures and videos on here of what it was like. It's beautiful. We've been a few times before. We stayed at the place we stayed at before as well. It was like 35 to 38 degrees when we were there. Spent most of the time in the pool. Even in the evening on the main street where having some food at the restaurants there, sat outside at like 9 p.m. The sweat was pouring out of me, it was so hot. But it's such a lovely place, very friendly people, beautiful place, lovely atmosphere. And it's somewhere we've been to loads of times before and we'll go to hopefully a lot more times in the future. So that was a lovely break. And whilst I was there, I didn't do any running because it was too flipping hot. And I wanted a break because I've got an ultramarathon coming up and I'm filming this on Monday. Can't see whatever date Monday is today. Is it the 2nd, the 3rd of August or whatever it is? But I've got the ultramarathon on the Saturday. So I've got less than a week until my 50-kilometer ultramarathon. So this is the last week of doing any running whatsoever, really. It's all scaling down. I went out for 7k today before I started filming this. Nice and slow, nice and easy. I'll go out on Wednesday, I think, maybe do 5k on Wednesday, and then that's it then till Saturday. And the event I'm doing, it's a loop, it's a 5k loop, and it starts at 9 o'clock in the morning and it finishes at 5 p.m. and it's how many of those 5k loops do you want to do or can you do in that time. You could just do one loop if you wanted. You could do one loop, sit down for 5 hours, then do one more, or you could just keep going and going, which is what I'm going to do. So in March I did one similar type of thing but a different location. I did 50k probably in about, I don't know what the time was, but I didn't have the energy or the time left to try and do another lap. Whereas this time I'm hoping, because I'm actually fit now and I've not been injured, I'm hoping I can do the 50k quicker, and I'm hoping maybe I can squeeze another lap in and maybe go to 55, maybe 60, but we'll see. The downside to all this is I don't like running in the heat, and it's forecast to be about 23 degrees, which for me is hot. I don't like running in that temperature. I sweat so much, it's awful. So 23 degrees isn't my type of jam. I much prefer, say, 8 degrees, a bit of wind and rain. That's my ideal conditions. So it's less than ideal, but it could be worse. It could be 28 or 30 degrees. So wish me luck. I will let you know how I get on. So onto the books. So everyone who didn't want to hear any of that, hello, you can come back. The coast is clear. I've finished talking about that. Talking about books now. Talking about books. If you hear about books, come in, sit down, pay attention. Okay, so I read 3.5 books in July. One of them I gave 5 stars to. One of them 4 stars. One of them 3. Obviously, I've not finished the other one, that's why it's a half a book. But we'll start off with a 3-star, and that was The Prestige by Christopher Priest, with the awful film tie-in book cover. I didn't think this was science fiction for the first, well, I'll say the first, for 3/4 of the book, but then it is. It does get science fiction-y. And this about, what's this? 350 pages, but boy, did this drag. It's so dry and so slow, and it's about magicians in the late 1800s, early 1900s. But you know, I'll produce a coin from nothing, and I'll go there, and the coin will be in that book. But it's all about deception and trickery and stuff like that. It's not actual magic. It's about that, and it's about these 2 magicians from that time who are competing against each other almost to hate each other. It's told in diary format, like diary excerpts and stuff like that. And it's just very one-paced all the way through. And it's also got something to do with like some other person in current day who's got a twin brother, but he's never met them, never even knew they existed, but they're kind of talking to him in the head and they've got to try and find them. But that part of it is dead interesting, except you get a tiny bit of it at the beginning, then you get 80% of the book, which is about these 2 magicians from the bygone times, and then it comes back to the current day, like at the end. And this book was slow and plodding and a 3-star read up until the final 10 pages. And then the final 10 pages were 5-star, fantastic. Why can't the entire book be like this? So I was reading this thinking, am I even going to finish it? I'm probably never going to read one of these books ever again. Up until those last 10 pages where it's made me think, well, you know what? Maybe there isn't a book of his that is as good as that, and I'll give him another shot. Not for a while, but I will give Christopher Priest another go. But 3 stars, all in all, for that. I gave 4 stars to, let me get this right, The Court of Broken Knives, book 1 in the Empires of Dust series by Anna Smith Spark. I've had this book for a long time, and I've been told it was grimdark fantasy, and boy, you're not wrong with that, because this is one dark story. If you've read Malazan Book of the Fallen, if you've read The Darkness That Comes Before by R. Scott Baker, it's that kind of story. I got those kind of feels from it. All the characters you follow are just horrible people, awful people, the worst type of people you could ever wish to meet. But the story is written in a very flowery, purpley way, really, which kind of offsets the horror of the stuff that you're reading. So it's I'm not someone who goes for trigger warnings on things, because I'm not going to get into what my thoughts are on trigger warnings. But if there were to be trigger warnings on this book, the cover would be full of every warning you could ever possibly think of. It is not for the faint-hearted. It is not for everyone. It is certainly not for everyone. You've got to know what you're getting in for when you start reading this, because there's some really bad stuff in it. But it was good. I liked it. It's a 4-star read. I will definitely be carrying on with the series. It's a little bit too flowery in places for me. There's a bit of a, believe it or not, a bit of a romancy bit in it, which was a bit grating, really. But I understood why it was happening and how the characters were, because they're such damaged characters. It's going to be a bit cringy because, well, they're damaged people, aren't they? So it was in keeping with that. But yeah, I won't say too much more. I'll do a spoiler-free review for it where I'll go into the details of what to expect, what kind of stuff is in it, if you want to know. Because I think with a book like that, you need to know what you're getting into before you pick it up. So that was 4 stars, but 5 stars was Dennis Lehane and The Drop. It's only a 200-page book, crime fiction. If this was actually filled out more, if there was a bit more in this, a bit more substance, and the characters were fleshed out more, wow, this could be so much. I mean, it's good now, but imagine what could have been done if it was fleshed out. Basically, this is about 2 guys who own a bar in somewhere in, let's just say, Detroit. I don't know, it's America. I don't really understand America. And they're related cousins, I think. And one of them, they're all both like middle-aged. One of them used to be a bit of a big shot and now he's not. And the other one, everyone thinks is a bit simple. But the bar is kind of run by the mafia, like not Italian mafia. What am I thinking here? Like Chechens, like Eastern European type crime gangs, and they use certain bars as a money drop. But no one knows which premises is going to be the drop for the ill-gotten gains up until like literally like the day before. And this whole story stems from, and the whole plot gets going when one of these cousins, on his way home from the bar, finds a dog that has been left for dead. And he feels sorry for it, and he collects it, and he starts to look after it. And that is the instigating point of where the story gets going, and things go from there. And even though it's only 200 pages, there is so much crammed into this, and I was hooked, absolutely hooked. And it didn't go the way I thought it was going to do. It sets you off down one road and then it switches it round again and leaves you surprised about how it ends up, and how, not how there is no mystery, but how the story resolves itself. Very, very good. I've read 2 books by Dennis Lehane now. Shutter Island was the other one, and I really like that. So I'm going to be picking up more Dennis Lehane in the future as something different to fantasy or science fiction. That was a 5-star read. Just think what you can do in 200 pages rather than some 800, 900 page sprawling fantasy story where a lot of it is filler. So the book I didn't quite finish, I think I'm about 80% into it at the minute, is The Chrysalids by John Wyndham. I'm not quite sure how I didn't manage to get through this because it's not a big book and it's not exactly hard going. This so far, it's okay. It's probably going to be 3.5 stars. There's going to be a bit of a reveal, I think, towards the end. But it's an interesting concept. But yeah, it's okay, really. I will report back in my monthly wrap up for August to let you know my final thoughts on it. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. That's what I've been reading. Let me know what you've read in the month of July, and I will speak to you in the comments below. Take care. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.